Hi, and welcome to Typography Online. I'm so sorry that we've had to go through all of this, but we're going to do the best that we can, and I'm here for you. So if you ever want to do a Zoom call, or if multiple students want to talk about something, I can set up a nice Zoom call. For those of you that are not familiar with Zoom, it's pretty much looks like the Brady Bunch, where everyone gets a little bit of a square and you can talk, see each other, etc. I know it's very different being online, but you'll get the same type of education that you would have received, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything, at least in these courses. I am trying to make sure that for the remainder of the term you have enough time to complete things, so it is spaced out a little bit more. It'll probably be a lot more work-based than lecture-based, but every week I'll provide you a video to make it a little bit easier. And let me know, as always, if there's anything I can do or you need anything. Communication is now more important than it ever was, and it always was really important. So, all right. When you get into the class, which you are already all in, but when you look at it on Canvas, there are a few sections that I want to make sure that you are really aware of. Announcements. Every Monday, I will post an announcement talking about the week. This is where my video will be, so you want to check every week in the announcements. You get an email of the announcement, so hopefully you've been seeing everything that I've been posting so far. If not, please let me know. I do have here a weekly breakdown in the announcements. It will be posted Monday morning, so if you don't see that, let me know. But our weekly breakdown, here it is. I love tabs, so here we go. Weekly breakdown. Just wanted to give you kind of a look at what the remainder of the term is going to look like. So this week we're talking about font pairings. You have a discussion board due Monday. This is the exception to the rule. The rest of the term and all assignments, discussion boards, everything will be due Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. This is the only assignment / discussion board. It is due today, Monday, March 23rd, because I need to make sure that everyone can understand the technology. You're getting the videos, you can navigate Canvas, you have Adobe on your home computer, and that you're able to just do everything. So we will talk about what that means, but you'll notice I just put Sunday for everything because I wanted you to get used to that. Sunday, things are due. Every week we will have an in-progress critique, but as you'll notice, I will also be asking questions in the discussion boards that you'll need to answer as well. I'm not requiring that you post early, but I would really, really like if you could post your first discussion by Wednesday, and then you can respond by Sunday. If you wait until Sunday to do all of your discussion posts, you're not going to get benefit from it. These are going to be critiques and you're going to learn information through it, so you want to make sure in the beginning of the week you're putting as much as you can into the discussion board so that we can talk about it, we can see what you're working on, you can get critiqued and improve on your assignments. And then each Sunday you'll have an assignment due. These are kind of smaller assignments. They still require a lot of work, but I'm giving a week for each of these 3 assignments. Then on April 12th, week 13, we're going to start your final. Your final is a 4-piece assignment. So, and again, I will talk about all of this when we get down to it, but I want to make sure that you just kind of know this is what we're doing for the remainder of the term. Okay, just to kind of give you a start. Let's look at that discussion. So when I say discussion board, you're probably going to want to click on discussions. I'm going to open it in a new tab so I don't lose anything, but this discussion section is a little confusing here. So I'm going to recommend that you go to modules. Before I do though, if you do have any questions or anything that you would like to discuss with myself, with the class, there is a discussion board available for you called Question and Answer. So post any questions you may have. They can be about a topic, tool, specific to your projects. Whatever you want. You'll just click reply here and type out your question and then hit post reply. I'm not going to do it because it might send you guys an alert, but then people can comment on it. That being said, people might not be reading this every day, so if it is something that's falling behind, let me know. I can always take a look at it or post an announcement saying, hey, check out the question and answer, so-and-so is looking for advice on something. So this discussion board, you'll want to go through discussions, but everything else, you're just going to want to go to modules. Now, I haven't published all of this. I'm going to publish week by week. So I don't want you to get too overwhelmed with what's coming next. So we're just going to look, on Monday morning, this will all be published so you can see what's coming for this week. This week we are going to be looking at font pairings, and we're going to do a music poster. So I'm just going to kind of go through this so you know what we're doing, what to expect, all of that. Our week 10 discussion. So this is due March 23rd, that's today, by 11:59 p.m. I put midnight here. You know what I mean. So again, this is checking everything. So on Monday, March 23rd, I want you to create a piece in Illustrator and post it in this discussion board. I want you to pick 2 words. They can be anything, but I want you to use a different font for each word. Your font choices should fit well together. Save your Illustrator file out as a PDF and then post this PDF in your discussions with a minor explanation of why you think these 2 fonts go together. You can also post any questions you may have or just say hello. I know, part of the downfall is we don't get to see each other. You don't get to have conversations and look at each other's projects and give verbal critique. So what we're trying to do here in the discussion board is just open it up, say hi to everybody, see how things are going, and of course we can do video calls as the term progresses if that's something that you want. But I find that a discussion board is at least nice, check in on people, say how they're doing. All right, so very simply, in Illustrator, I'm going to create new. I'm just going to do 8.5 by 11. It really doesn't matter what you want to do. Oh, I have artboards, huh? Maybe my computer froze? All right. So artboards 1, 8.5 by 11. I'm in RGB. For this, it doesn't matter. I just want you to be able to use the technology and show me that you can. So let's see. Let's do Jennifer Fuller. If you guys forgot who I was. You could do any 2 words. You can be quarantine ready, whatever it is. All right, so I'm going to pick 2 fonts that I think go well together. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can all see. Maybe I'll have Jennifer be the main part. Fuller is going to be a little bit smaller. Not feeling Baskerville, I thought I was. So I'm just going to do a serif and a sans serif. That doesn't necessarily mean that things go well together. They might even not work very well together, but whatever you want to do, I'm actually going to do Garamond up here. And Future down here. Generally, we want to use our sans serif for our body text. Whoops. Again, for this, I am just trying to see that you're using the software and you're thinking about font pairings. There are different websites that I put in the module, which I will show you in a second, but so read about those. You don't need to read about them in advance. This can be very basic. Why do I think these work together? I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So all we're going to do then, File, Save As. I'm going to just save it on my desktop. We're going to save it as an Adobe PDF. I'm calling it Fuller Pairing. You can name it whatever you want. Save PDF. So then I'm going to go back to my discussion board. I'm going to hit Reply. And then here is my font pairing. These go well together because, let's spell together right. Blah, blah, blah. Hope everyone is well. Whatever. If you have any questions, if something didn't work, if you're confused about font choices, that's fine. Put it all here. And then we're just going to go to Attach. And then Browse. Fuller Pairing. Open. Okay, it's in here. And then you would hit Post Reply. And then from there, you can respond to each other and talk about, what's working well. I'm not necessarily looking for you to respond. If you want to and you can, that is wonderful, and it's only going to help everything. But I know this being due today is pretty fast, so I just want to make sure that you just get it posted and in. Okay, so that's due tonight by midnight. Then we want to go back to modules. So I've done my discussion. Now maybe it's tomorrow or later today. I have gotten more time. So I want to read about font pairings. So I tried to break it down a little bit. What fonts pair well together, some inspiration of fonts that work well, and a non-designer's guide. A lot of times as designers, we know a lot principle-wise and all of that. But sometimes I like to look at things in a non-designer type way. Like, why would an average person think that two things go together well? Or, if you don't know anything about balance or spacing, why do you think things work a certain way? So, for instance, let's look at just these top two. You can go through all of them. 36 for perfect font pairings. So, you might say, well, I don't have these two. Okay, well, it says it's a slab serif. So we know what slab serifs are. We can look at different slab serifs and think about, okay, well, what qualities do we think make these go well together? Look at the spacing between the letters. Look at the bold and the size and style of each font and how they're put together. So how do we pair typefaces? Let's rewind a little bit. Why do we pair typefaces? So when you're doing your research paper for your history class, you probably do it all in Arial or Times New Roman or whatever the teacher asks for, or whatever Word document is defaulted to. Right? It's just simple, straightforward, you're writing a paper. In design, we can add more dynamics, more excitement, add to the hierarchy by pairing typefaces together. The act of choosing two typefaces is probably the first and most difficult task you will do when creating a new design. Many people get stuck here, myself included. This is a new thing. Thinking about typography, it's tough because you're trying to think, well, what emotion, what feeling am I trying to get? What am I trying to portray? So finding one typeface that really fits your brand, your advertisement, whatever you're trying to work with, that's a difficult task to do. And then to find one that pairs with it and still shows that idea. You might find, oh, these two fonts are both relaxing and high class, and I get all that, but you're not going to want to pair those two together. You don't want to pair things that are very similar, because then we just get this kind of awkwardness that it's just a little off and there's not necessarily a reason. It's getting that juxtaposition and trying to make it fit well together, not just be like, is that different, or is that the same? What's changed? All right, so we already know about categorizing our typefaces, and then this is just kind of a recap as to serif, sans serif, slab, all of that. And they use a nice grid so you can look at the letter forms, the stroke, the tilt. So I would highly recommend that you kind of just go through this and look. Again, these are all terms that you guys already know, so it'll be maybe a nice reminder after we had kind of a longer spring break. But I'm going to kind of come down here, and then you can see how we're breaking down these even further. So, pairing sans serif typefaces with serif or slab serif typefaces. Pair typefaces from the same era. So, it's kind of a nice way to break things down. Now, that being said, does that always work? No. Can you break that rule sometimes? Yes, but this is a nice way to start looking at it. Okay, so I have a couple different things for you to look at. Take a look at all of them, see what you kind of think. Maybe you disagree with some of these. So, you know, looking at this, do you think these actually work well together? Are we drawing attention here? Is, you know, we talked about Baskerville as a body text typeface. You know, does that work well? Not sure. So just things to kind of look at. And again, you might not have these font choices, and that's okay. Think about what works well. Why do you like it? You know, here, these are, you know, the same type, but, you know, different font. We've got a thick, bold, and then kind of a thin here. Narrow and black. So anyway, things to think about. Look at what you like. And, you know, I hope throughout this term so far that you've found font choices that you like more than others. You know, maybe it's just Helvetica to keep it design clean and neat, or maybe you like, you know, I'm a fan of Baskerville. Why do you like it? So try to design things around your likes, because if you can be passionate about something and you think that it works, more than likely somebody else is going to feel that same way. All right, so after you go through the font pairings, you've already posted in the discussion, you've watched this lecture. Now we can look at your assignment that's due on Sunday. So this is a music poster. Okay, you are going to create 4 music posters for a music festival. They will all be the same basic design. You may include graphics, but it isn't needed. You'll want your base design to fit all 4 categories. So I would just start by knowing, okay, we're dealing with a music festival. So if I was going to do some graphic elements, maybe I want to show the venue, maybe I want to show music notes, something like that, set up your base design first. Then you're going to pick 4 of the following categories: metal, heavy metal, country, symphony, Broadway, techno, rap, indie, punk. Okay? If you have a different category that you'd like to use, just let me know and we can talk about it. The event is called the Musical Experience. I left it very vague. And it's going to be in the Ulysses Ballroom in Chicago, Illinois on June 27th, 2020. It's at 6:30 p.m. and the tickets are $35. What I want you to put somewhere, it's going to say, welcome to our 3rd annual music festival. Come enjoy a night of blank music. So that's when you would say, come enjoy a night of rock music and celebrate our community. This is an outdoor music festival that will go on rain or shine. Additional text is allowed, but it must match in all 4 pieces. Think about font choices, color, and alignment. Your final should be 11 by 17 CMYK. You may use 4 artboards in one file or submit 4 files. They should be submitted as Adobe PDFs. Pay special attention to font pairing, and that is due Sunday at 11:59. So if I'm in Illustrator, I'll just go to File, New, and then we will do 11 by 17. Orientation, you can do either, but all 4 have to match. So I'm fine if you're portrait or landscape. I'm just going to do 4 artboards because that's going to be a lot easier to work in, but if you prefer to do 4 files, that's completely fine. And then I said CMYK. So I'm going to change this to CMYK. That's fine for now. And I'll hit create. All right, so I'm just going to bring in the text, and it's again up to you however you want to do this, but I know that I have to include this information. So I'll just copy, Command C, Command V to paste. So next week, we're going to be taking a closer look at hierarchy, but this is something that you need to think about in this piece. What is the most important piece of information? You know, maybe it's the title, maybe you have some supporting text, whatever. This, though, is going to kind of be a body of text. So maybe I want to separate that out. You may want to separate all pieces. Completely up to you however you want to do this. Now, the thing is, once I get my design, and obviously this is not designed at all, but let's say I have, maybe I have a border and a color and who knows what. Who said bright pink doesn't work? Anybody who's dealing with type, that's very vibrant. Anyway, let's say this is my design. Okay, again, this is not a design. You will need to do more. But what I can then do is select everything, Command Alt and click, Command Alt and Shift and click and drag. And what that does is it keeps it in alignment with my last one. And it's copying, only my bottom layer. Let's select this all again. Command Alt Shift, click and drag. Now, of course, this isn't going to work for my lecture. Okay, forget it. We'll do copy, paste. 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 So I have the same design in all 4 of my pieces. Now I'm going to think about what font choices I'm going to use to make it fit my 4 musical categories. So if this is now rock, and this one is country, and this one is punk, what else did I say? Indie. Let's do some folk. All right. Now I need to change my font choices and think about font pairing to make it fit those specific categories. Okay, so I'm not changing my design, which again, yours will be more designed than this. I want you to think about hierarchy, think about graphical elements that you might want to add. But I need to pick font choices that are going to fit my category of music. So what do I think a rock music fan would be drawn to font-wise? You can use more than 2 font choices. I would not use more than 3, and I would try to stick it to 2. But again, you've got this kind of body of text. You know, our musical experience might be highlighted most. Then it's going to be up to you. You know, is the location the most important? Is the date the most important? It's kind of an interesting discussion to hear what you think the most important part is, because some people, you know, if I can't know the date, I'm not going to go because I don't know if I have that available. Or other people are like, well, I don't like the Ulysses Ballroom, or that's my favorite venue, so I'll go to that venue no matter what the show is. So again, think about your hierarchy. You don't want everything to be the exact same size and positioning in space. You want to create a hierarchy. I want to know exactly what you think I should look at first, second, third, etc. all the way through. Okay? Then, of course, you will save as an Adobe PDF. When you are done, you should save along the way. But save as an Adobe PDF, and then you will submit that in Canvas in the gradebook, just like we had been doing all along. All right, so And then you can look back at the modules. All right, I did my discussion, I read about font pairings, I already watched the video, and I did my music poster and submitted. You are done for the week. Okay, and then I'll unlock next week and everything moving forward. If you have any questions whatsoever, any comments, concerns, excitements, anything, feel free to reach out. You can email me day or night. I am trying to check my email more often, so don't hesitate with anything. We're all in this together, and we're all gonna, do the best we can to get through this weird situation. So make sure you're staying healthy, and I will talk to you soon.